Barcelona, Martí, yes, thank you. Hello from Barcelona as well. I'm so glad that you are here. Today we are speaking about health, like physical health, and how this is related with our mental health, emotional health. Thank you. We will start. We won't wait any longer because we want to take as much juice as possible from this expert here today. Ruki is one of the first people that I met when I moved to Kampala. And when I moved into the studio she was building, I was like, oh, I'm home and I'm sure that I'm going to learn so much. I started attending yoga from the first week I arrived with her, and it's been such a blessing to have her in my life. And recently I finished her detox program training, and I feel so alive, so healthy, and I have recovered a connection with my body. I know what feels right and not. So I got so many benefits from these programs that she's running. She took so good care of us and fed us with amazing food. I won't steal more time. I would like to start introducing you that Rook is a health coach. She's the founder of Urban Yogi. She teaches people on detox program. She's also a yoga teacher. My God, she's so talented. She knows so much. Look, is there something that you would like to that I have forgotten on your introduction?
Sure. No, it's a pleasure to be here, Clara, and it's been a blessing for me to know you and your journey in Uganda as well. So that's really great. And we do detox programs from Kampala.
Yes, it's so lovely. She also does coaching online and assesses people on health, mainly on vegan raw food. She's a raw food chef, isn't it?
Yes.
Hello, Clara. Hello, Blanca. My sister is here because she's also vegan and she's so interested. She will be taking even notes. So we're all waiting to learn from Ruki. The subject today is about detoxification. What is detox? Yes.
So detox in and of itself is a natural process that your body is going through every single day. You're detoxing through your skin, through your lungs when you're breathing in and out, through the skin when you're sweating, when you urinate, you're cleaning your bladder out of all the toxins that have accumulated. So your body is in a constant state of detoxification, and most of the times it's not even something you have to think about. It's such a natural process and such a vital process for your body to go through that your innate intelligence just ensures that your body is cleansed every single second without you even having to think about it. So that's ideally what detoxification is.
Lovely. And how do we get intoxicated in our day-to-day life? This would be the first one, and then why do we get and how, so that we understand better.
Yeah. So I just told you what detoxification is, right? Like, it's a process that our body is naturally doing so that we can keep cleansing and keep being as healthy as we possibly can. But the reason that, probably some of us may not be detoxing as well is that we get so many toxins, in our environment, inside our homes, in the air we breathe, in the water we drink, with all the chemicals that we're using. And when all of these are too many, it overburdens our system. And that's how we can end up with too much toxicity. When your body's ability to excrete or eliminate is not as much as what's coming in. So it's kind of like a simple math calculation, like how much, whatever's coming in, if it's not being taken out, then it ends up being stored in your cells and then leads to a lot of other health issues. And in today's world, really the problem is that we're getting so many toxins. We're exposed to I think I read somewhere they were saying like about 77,000 toxins on a particular day. Of course, it also depends on your lifestyle and what you've chosen to do. But even if you are living a very healthy lifestyle, it's very difficult to stay away from these toxins just because there's pollution everywhere. Our water systems are not really controlled by us. So though we use, RO system or filtration, some things could possibly still leach through. So we are exposed in many ways in today's world, and that leads to accumulation of toxins.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very true. So actually, Ruki just said that we can get the toxins from the environment, the pollution, the air, the soaps that we clean our dishes, like the water. So basically, toxins are everywhere. And later on, I'll have another question further on supermarkets and with things. But yeah,
Sure.
Before that, why enrolling to detox diets helps our body, our mind, our emotions? Why did I feel so clear with so many mental clarity, and I was able to focus longer hours after enrolling the program last week with you?
Yeah. So, basically, when you look at most detox programs, not just the one I do, but generally when you do a detox program, usually there is quite a bit of an emphasis in terms of lifestyle habits. Now, when I was talking earlier about, how we get a lot of toxins from the environment, but what I also forgot to mention is that our body during its metabolic processes also produces waste. Right? So when that waste is not removed, that also gets stored in our body. So we're getting toxins even internally within our body. Even if you live in the most purest place, our body, as a process of detoxification, creates some toxins which are eliminated. But when our pathways of elimination are blocked, that causes, a lot of challenges. So usually what happens in a detox program is that, we put certain lifestyle practices in place. One of them could be, sleeping on time. You'll not believe it, Clara, but just sleeping on time has such an impact on enabling our body to detoxify. They in fact say that the most amount of healing happens in your body from the time of 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. So ideally, you should be trying to get to bed by 9:30 so that by 10, at least you're asleep. And that way, you're enabling your body to do its, most amount of detoxification during that period. When you go to sleep much later, your body's ability to do that is not as optimal. So something as simple as sleep. And then the next thing is also food, right? Many times when I do these detox programs, a common theme that people tell me is that I didn't even realize I snack as much as I do, right? Because we do a detox where you're eating only 3 meals a day and nothing in between, absolutely nothing, so that when your body starts digesting, it completes its process and has some extra time to try and filter out whatever toxins are built up in your fat cells or, whatever has not been cleared. It has that opportunity to remove it and cleanse it out. Now, usually what happens is that people will eat something, then they'll be like, oh, it's a fruit. Let me have a fruit in the middle of my meal. So between breakfast and lunch or lunch and dinner, they'll have a snack in between. And anytime food goes into our stomach, it kind of closes down and the process of digestion happens before it releases into the colon, and then absorption and all that happens. So when you have too much food coming in, your liver, which is one of the most vital organs of detoxification and elimination, does not have time to work on all the other stored toxins. It's so busy just absorbing whatever's coming in, processing it, making it available for the body, eliminating it. And then if the food that you're eating itself is toxic as well, then, trying to bind it and keep it safe so that it doesn't damage the rest of the body. There's quite a lot that's going on in your body. So when we do a program like this, we're first of all making sure that the timing between your meals is vital. So we're making sure you're having a gap of at least 4 to 6 hours between your breakfast and lunch and dinner. So there's a good gap to enable your body to go through that detox process. So that's another thing that helps. The next thing that also helps is hydration. We always keep telling people, please drink a lot of water, keep a timer if it's required. And, just get into that habit of drinking. Eventually, you'll know how much to drink and how much not to. We're not really, steadfast or strict in terms of, we recommend you have to drink 2 liters or 3 liters. But in the beginning, most people don't realize that they are dehydrated. And water is so important for our body. Our body is made up of 70% water. And, they say that as you grow older and your water quantity reduces, that's when you end up with like wrinkles and, all of those things, because you start drying up, right? So it's extremely important that we stay hydrated. So sometimes doing a guided program like this helps you because you're bringing more awareness to your body. You're bringing awareness to how you're acting on an everyday basis. You're thinking about water. You're bringing your consciousness to not snacking in between. You're bringing your consciousness or effort into sleeping on time. You're bringing your consciousness and awareness in terms of what are you eating? How is it making you feel in the stomach? So, there are so many different types of detoxes, as I mentioned. The one that I chose to do in Uganda is just a food-based detox, because I wanted people to understand that, when you think about a detox, you don't have to think about, oh, what supplements should I take? What herbs should I take to start, helping me cleanse? It can literally be as simple as just the food you're eating. If you're eating organic, are you eating, like cooked food or, food that's raw so that it has most of its nutrition. So, even just with those simple things, within a 7-day period, I've had people who, have gone for blood tests before and after and found that their cholesterol has changed drastically. There's people who were able to dramatically reduce their diabetes medication. I've had people whose skin issues have resolved. So all of these things can happen if in 7 days, imagine if you continued eating more consciously, more raw, more natural, and following these lifestyle practices, how amazing you can feel. So that's probably why you felt amazing as well. Yeah. Just because of being more conscious, adding a lot of variety of food, so you're getting a variety of nutrients in, and then following these lifestyle habits.
There is a question from someone that joined. I think she's from the fitness club. A friend has asked how she can detox without losing weight. She's already underweight.
Okay. So, yeah. So basically, when you're doing a food-based detox, like the one I teach, which, honestly, you can just do it as long as you're eating raw and natural. I always tell people on the detox program as well, please make sure to eat as much as you need. Okay, so the idea is that when you're eating, don't restrict your calories or, feel like, oh, I want to eat little because I need to, I'm doing a detox. Eat as much as you want, but eat at the timings that are, the right. So like if you're having breakfast at like, say, 8:30, then lunch by 12:30, dinner by 6 or 7 maximum, and then you go to sleep, right? Like at 9. So by doing this, those people who have weight to lose, their body will naturally start by detoxing the toxins in the fat cells, and then the elimination happens and weight loss happens. But if you're underweight, then you might probably even gain a couple of pounds or even just maintain the same weight. Now, I do this detox program, every time I do it with my detox clients, sometimes strictly, sometimes not, depending on, what my intention is. But I personally am at an ideal weight for myself. So I never lose weight despite the fact that I eat this way. So it's all about food, and it's not anything aggressive. Yes, you can do aggressive detoxes, but to do that, it's very important that you do it with a qualified professional, not at home. The ones I do are purely food-based. So we're not adding any supplements. We're just drinking a nutritious green smoothie in the morning, having a very heavy, multicolored salad for lunch, and then a green soup for dinner. And that's about it. So it's all food that you're eating. You're making sure it's organic, or if it's not organic, just making sure that it's being cleaned or soaked in water with a little bit of apple cider vinegar for about 10 to 15 minutes so that some of the toxins are leached out. And then using the produce in the food that you're eating. So yeah, I just needed to point that out because I know that organic is not always accessible financially for everybody, but this is one way where you can at least try to reduce your toxic exposure where possible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the tips. Yeah. I would like us to speak a little bit about why organic, but before I have a few more questions. Yeah, the benefits of my experience, I already said that when I did this detox, I felt my mind being more clear, like more decluttered energetically and in my body. I did lose some weight, even though it wasn't my goal for this time, and I felt more joy, like more energy, basically. Yeah. What are the other effects that you find in your clients after? Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely energy is a really big one. Usually at the beginning of a detox program or any lifestyle change for that matter, there's a bit of a dip, so usually people will go through a slump where they feel like, like I feel tired, I feel lethargic because your body's overworking. There's a lot of toxins coming out. So some of the side effects of this detox could be that you start to feel low. But ideally, within 7 days, your energy starts to come back and you start to feel more vibrant. I've had people talk about improved sleep quality. They're able to sleep much better. Their concentration improves. The skin improves, which I mentioned earlier. Weight loss for a couple of people who, have that excess weight to lose, according to what the body feels. So, yeah, these are a couple of things that people experience during the detox program.
What Ruki also said is that for people that are underweight, it's not a problem to do detox. That actually it just helps regulating your health in and out. And some of other questions is what detox drinks or foods can easily be cooked by us during like at home that can help our liver relax or give our digesting system a small massage. Yeah.
Okay, so basically fibrous foods can be amazing to give your body, your colon a really good massage and get, hold on to all the toxins in the large intestine and small intestine and take it out of the body. So eating as much raw is amazing. So things like kale, spinach, Swiss chard, different types of sprouts, different types of herbs that you can add in, like fresh oregano. So all these things can really help in adding a lot of nutrition to the body and at the same time being very soothing for the digestive system to cleanse it out. But of course, different people's bodies react differently. That is something that I've also seen during the program. Sometimes we'll have people who end up with like loose motions, their body is just purging. And sometimes people will end up with constipation. So, it's two extremes. But again, everybody's body is different. And, we help support it depending on whichever phase it's going through. But it's all part and parcel of the detox program. It's your body adjusting to a new way of eating and being. Mm-hmm. So, what I would say is when you start eating a new way, just be aware that these changes might happen as your body adjusts to it, but it's part and parcel. Now, in terms of what foods you can add in to super boost, your nutrition when you're at home. Like, for example, in a smoothie, right? Some things that you could add, like could be coconut butter. It's like really rich and nourishing. You can make it at home very easily by just blending or blitzing desiccated coconut, and you make this really thick, beautiful butter. You can put it in your smoothie so that you get that really good saturated fat in the morning. And then you could also put things like spirulina, chlorella, or even moringa, which, has had a lot of fame nowadays. So adding those things into your smoothie is a great way of ensuring that you get a lot of nutrition. Now, specifically in terms of a detox, some foods that you should have in a detox are foods that are rich in sulforaphanes. So things like broccoli, cauliflower, kale. All of these things are extremely supportive for the liver to optimize all of the pathways that the liver goes through for the different phases of detox that the liver supports. So ideally, they say that there are 3 phases that the liver detoxifies through. So phase 1, yeah.
3, yeah. I was
Yeah. So what happens in phase 1 is that the fat soluble toxins that come into your liver are broken down into water soluble toxins because your body cannot excrete fat in and of itself. So they're converted into water soluble toxins. And then in phase 2, the water soluble toxins are converted into less toxic substances so that they can easily be eliminated out of the body without too much, without any damage happening in the body. So, and then that the phase 3 is the elimination part, like completely getting rid of it. So to support all of these pathways, it's extremely important to eat foods that are very rich in sulfur. So like the couple of ones that I mentioned, but also things like onions and garlic. I have had people complain about the fact that when we're working, we don't want to have the breath of onion. But, it's very helpful. So if you don't want to have onion in the lunchtime, you could just make sure that the salad that you make for dinner has a bunch of onions so that, it helps support the body.
Yeah. Lovely. So much information. We'll need like a notebook to write and to learn so many inputs. Thank you so much for your generous tips, Ruki. Someone before, while we were speaking, was asking about if this detox would help sleeping. So, or that he was having problems sleeping. Ruki spoke about food, the gap in between the meals, timings, sleeping, the drinking lots of water. So you gave some tips that could help also to sleep better. And definitely when we are detoxed, we sleep better. She mentioned that people sleep much deeper and it's more rejuvenating. The other question was about what about having a vegan pregnancy? What do you think about it? And if you could give us some tips or advice.
Absolutely. I think, can you hear me?
Yes. I was just reading the questions to write them down.
Okay. So basically, yes, it's very safe to be a vegan and, go through your pregnancy. How do I say it? Like, for example, if I have to talk about myself, right? We grew up as Indians, the caste or culture that I was part of, we were vegetarian. Like we never, thought about eating meat, or we grew up with the idea that that was wrong, that was harmful. So we never, grew up eating meat. We were always vegetarian. So yes, as a vegetarian, we do have, milk and yogurt, but particularly in our family, that was not the main part of a meal. Main part was like rices, millets, lentils, all of these things. And we've never had health problems in the sense of, not that you can't get any health issues, but the fact that, the things people worry about like B12 or protein insufficiency or those sorts of things are not like really common as such. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think, by eating vegan or vegetarian, it will necessarily have a problem. But having said that, at the same time, you can be a healthy vegan and you can be a very unhealthy vegan. Who's an unhealthy vegan? That's somebody who lives off French fries and, potato chips and those kinds of processed foods all throughout, right? Whereas a healthy vegan is somebody who eats a variety of foods, have some lentils in your food, have some grains, have some vegetables, have some greens. So as long as you're making sure to have like a good balanced meal of, all these different things, you're perfectly okay. Your body will have everything it needs. Now, again, just to quickly talk about the myth about B12 and the fact that vegans have a deficiency of B12, which, has actually been proven that that's not real. In fact, majority of the population today has a B12 problem, whether you're a vegetarian, vegan, or a non-vegetarian. And that comes because of the fact that, most of the food that we are eating is, grown in soils where there's very little microbiology, the soils are depleted, and also B12 is also a bacteria that is in your colon, and, so when the digestive fire in your stomach is not functioning at its optimum level, even if you're eating B12 from liver of animals or whatever, you're still not going to absorb the B12. So the reason that most people have a deficiency today is because their digestive system is not functioning to its optimum level. The fire or the acid balance in the digestive system, especially the stomach, is really not strong enough. So it's not breaking down and absorbing what it needs to absorb. So that's why B12 is actually a problem that most of the population faces. Nowadays, they're finding that animals also have a lot of B12 deficiency. So they start, injecting them with B12 so that the organs that they are, the organs that are removed for food purposes have enough B12 in them. So it's all becoming a bit artificial. So definitely, if you're a vegan or non-vegan, I do recommend that that's one blood test you should get done and check how your levels are, and where needed, just support your body with supplements. So it's the reality of living in this 21st century, I guess, right?
21st century, yeah. We are exposed to all these chemicals and non-organic food and transgenic food. I would like to ask you, what is your opinion about organic? Why should we go organic? Then someone asked, how does raw onion help in detox? If you could give some more, because we were speaking about this before more completely. Yeah. But I'm super interested in knowing your opinion about why organic and
Yeah, again, it comes back to just reducing the toxic load on the body. Any toxin that comes into our body has to work that extra hard to try and eliminate it, because it's not meant for us. There's no nutritional value that it's providing. So it's a foreign substance and it needs to be cleared. So every time we're eating these pesticides, some of them have cancer-causing compounds in them. A lot of pesticides in the past used to also have bromine. I'm really not sure if today's pesticides have a lot of bromine. I have to actually look that up. But, I was listening to a lecture by Dr. Gabriel Brownstein, and he was talking about how everybody in today's world has an iodine deficiency. Now, why do people have an iodine deficiency, despite the fact that in the 1920s they introduced iodine into salt to make sure that most people got the required amount of iodine so that the goiter problem that was happening in the US could reduce. And it helped resolve it for a certain period of time. But what's happening today is that we're having fluoride put in our water systems, bromine put in our, pesticides and, fertilizers and all of these things. So anytime we have these halogen group of chemicals coming into our body, what happens is that they block the spots where iodine would usually deposit itself. So when that happens and you have very little bit of iodine in your diet, it becomes very, very hard for iodine to attach. So then you end up with so many issues, thyroid problems, cancers of, the thyroid, the breast, the ovarian, testicular. All these cancers are at a rise right now, also because of an iodine deficiency, because of the foods we're eating, because of, all these things. So definitely, staying away from or foods with pesticides is a very good idea, so that you can reduce the amount of toxic load coming into your body.
Okay. Yeah, you were speaking about this, in the ovaries, getting some, these tumors that here in Uganda, I have few friends that they have had some here. Apparently, within East Africa, it's more common, like to have, and then you have to go remove them. But basically, with a change of diet, it would disappear, no? Because as more as you release them, the more they grow. Apparently, yeah. This is what I've heard, that there is more tendency in this area, or to have them. And what kind of foods would be good for that? Yeah.
So, what kind of foods would be good for iodine? So,
because I just recently read an article. I went with a friend that had a Ugandan friend that had an issue with that. So if you can give us some tips, I will let her know.
Yeah. So one of the best ways is by eating a lot of sea vegetables. So if you can get things like nori or kelp, or even for your salt, rather than buying iodized or white salt, which is really not having any nutrients. Like white salt literally has two nutrients, sodium and chloride, right? Whereas if you get Himalayan salt or Celtic salt, these salts have like over 78 minerals in them. So it's very important that you're eating the right salt as well. But you could also add another sea vegetable called dulse, which has a very salty flavor. So you could add that into your salt, and then when you put your salt on, you're getting, this sea vegetable, which has a good amount of iodine into your body. But honestly, if you don't have access to those things, or if you're having health issues such as cysts or cancer and other things, then you should definitely work with a holistic practitioner so that they can put you on a proper iodine protocol. In those cases, it's really important to have iodine. In this talk that I was listening to with Dr. Brownstein, he was talking about women, that there was a woman who had fibrocystic breasts, where she had a tendency to keep having, cysts. It was not cancerous, but it was like a tendency to have a lot of cysts. And by putting her on iodine protocol, he was able to see that within a couple of months, the breasts became completely normal, and, there was no clotting and things like that happening. So iodine is really, really important in today's, world for us as well.
Thank you. It's been so insightful. I think we have another question, but before we close this part of the toxins and all that, I wanted to ask you, how does toxins directly affect our mind, which you more or less said. But could you mention the actual causes so that maybe people says, oh, I have them all. Maybe I just need a detox, or maybe I just have to check on changing my eating patterns.
Yeah, but before I get to that, I remembered that I forgot a question, which was about onions, right? Raw onions. How do raw onions help in a detox? So again, they have a lot of sulforaphane. Is it sulforaphane? But they're very high in sulfur, and sulfur is one of the nutrients or elements that's required for your liver to do most of the detox pathways. So that's why raw onion and garlic and broccoli and cabbage and kale, all these things are really, really helpful for your body. One of the best things also is broccoli, but broccoli as a cress, like when you just sprout it and you get that is really, really more potent in your body. So eating that is very helpful. Okay,
lovely.
So now
this was received in Kenya, and the other question was how toxins get represented in our emotions or our mind.
Yeah. So one thing I'll say, Clara, on that is that when you don't have a healthy body, you don't have a healthy mind, right? And, this was something I experienced from, my personal life. All throughout my childhood, I've had health issues coming up consistently, whether it be asthma or bronchitis, to just skin issues. And, I used to always feel lazy, when it was time to turn on the light, I'd be like, can somebody else do it? Or to set the table, it'll be like, can somebody else do it? I was not ever a person who was energetic, physically. And it wasn't until, 2009, when I was around 24 years of age, where I ended up with ulcerative colitis. So it was ulcers in my colon. And I decided to go the natural route and heal myself using Ayurveda and natural remedies. So I went to an Ayurvedic center and I detoxed my body. And I stayed there for a month and went through an entire cleanse process. When I came back, and I was just moving around at home with my parents, and anytime anybody would ask for any task, I would be the first one to be like, I'll do it. Until one day my mom said, wow, this is amazing, you never used to do anything at home, but now you're doing. And I told her, wow, you're right about that. It seems like, my body was not healthy, so I didn't have the energy or the mindset to want to do anything in my life. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's something very important for people to realize, not just for ourselves, but even if you have family or friends who you've noticed are lethargic, lazy, or have a lot of mental fog, it's probably not even the fact that they don't have the drive to do the activities, but probably their body is just not supporting that mental functioning, right? They say that, our digestive system is, like very, very important for our body. In fact, they say that for people suffering from depression, one of the best ways to treat them is to treat their digestive system. Because serotonin, a large quantity, is produced more in the gut than it is in the brain. So when your gut is not optimal, for example, you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or candida or digestive issues just like constipation consistently or loose motions, all these things that show that you don't have a good digestive system, then your body's ability to produce serotonin, which is, one of the chemicals that keeps you happy, is not optimal. So you'll find that they don't have discipline or willpower or the ability to take control of their life. All of these things get compromised when your digestive system and your detoxification pathways are not operating at their optimum level.
Imagine, yes. So body and mind are creating a cybernetic union. We knew that, but with these examples, some people are saying, wow, I didn't know that. This is great. Thank you for sharing, right? Because yes, actually, I also realized through experience, apparently I had some fungus in my intestines, was just more the bad ones than the good ones, the candidas that there. And just by changing the diet, I got so much more energy. I felt I had to go to bed too early, and now sleeping the same, I get more energy. So it's definitely, there is a big link and connection between our digestive system, our body, our mind, and our emotions as well.
Yeah. Clara, I just want to add one more point to what you're saying, because I know somebody asked earlier about being vegan in a pregnancy. This was something that I learned very recently, but which I actually did in my pregnancy. They did a study where they found that when mothers are taking probiotics during their pregnancy, it helps the children who are born to have stronger histamine tolerance. So basically, that means that their immune system is developed enough that they don't get common allergies. Now, I used to take probiotics because I was somebody who used to have consistent candida issues or yeast infections. So throughout my pregnancy, I took probiotics, not even knowing that by taking the probiotics, it's actually helping my child to have higher tolerance to allergies and, all of these other conditions that come out because of histamine intolerance.
Lovely. Such a good tip. Thank you. I hope the person is listening and is taking notes. Lovely. We have a couple of more questions, but feel free. We open the space for anyone that wants to ask questions about health, about weight, about getting more energy, about some easy recipes for detox. Feel free. Ruki is here for a few more minutes before we close the talk. Now, what can we do with all this information? How can we start today putting more consciousness or awareness to bring detox into our day-to-day life with the small things and eliminating additional toxic loads using natural product? And how is the link with the liver? Yeah, so I think those are two different questions. So if you want to start with...
Yeah, sure. So the first question, if I understood it correctly, is about, what can we do to kickstart our detoxification today, right? So again, it comes back to a few of those tips that I shared earlier. One is just make sure you're drinking plenty of water. You're not eating more than 3 meals, and starts becoming more conscious of what you're snacking on, even healthy snacks, whether it be nuts or fruits. You just don't want to snack, right? Like if you want to have fruit, have it 15 or 30 minutes before having your lunch or 30 minutes before having your dinner. But don't, have like a huge gap of like 2 hours between having a banana, then having dinner, then having something before you go to bed. So that's really, really bad. So try and keep your meals within a half an hour bracket, making sure that you're having fruits if you need to, your leafy greens, your vegetables, whatever it is, trying to maintain those buckets of time. And also another thing is consistency, right? So it shouldn't be that today you're eating lunch at 12 o'clock, tomorrow you eat lunch at 2 o'clock, another day you eat lunch at 1 o'clock. That, really messes with your circadian rhythm as well, because it's very important to train our body also to say that, okay, this is the time that I'm eating. So your body consciously knows that, okay, this is the time that, I need to get my stomach acid to the right, strength and level so that digestion can happen. So, I talked about sleep and food. Exercising, just being very mindful. It doesn't even have to take a lot. You could get like a small mini trampoline at home and just jump on it for 5 minutes, 3 times a day. And that itself is enough to get your entire lymphatic system moving. Or do like 15 minutes of yoga. Sometimes with exercise, people think it has to be like so long and so intensive, but realistically, it doesn't. One of the new things that I've gotten into is what is it? It's kind of like high intensity training, but not really. So what I do is I do like a 30-second run. So I run really fast for 30 seconds to get my heartbeat pumping. And then I take a 90-second break. So that's like a minute and a half. So, and then I repeat this cycle 6 times. So usually by the time I reach the 6th time, I've, really slowed down in my speed, but still my heart gets pumping, and then I walk for 90 seconds. So they've found that by doing this, we boost our growth hormone production much more than if you're just to walk for like 60 minutes. Or, if you're to be on an intensive, cardio exercise for 30 minutes, it won't boost your growth hormone as much as doing these sprints. You do short bits of cardio, take a 90-second break, another 30-second cardio, 90-second break. So the cardio could even be just skipping rope, or just climbing up steps. Whatever works for you and is doable. Sometimes for people who have knee issues or joint issues, just standing on the rebounder and just, moving your feet up and down for 30 seconds and then come down, take a quick walk for 90 seconds, get back on it. So, exercise is something that's really vital for getting our lymphatic system moving and all the toxins draining. So that's another thing you can do. So we talked about exercise, food, and sleep and hydration. What else can you do? And then just becoming more conscious of the toxins that are coming into your home, whether it be the dishwashing liquid or the soaps that you're using, and again, don't go crazy, or don't think that you have to fix everything today, because that can lead to like overwhelm, and you probably won't be able to go much further, like you'll get a crash. So take it one step at a time. Today, if you decide, I'm just going to try sleeping, try that for a week. And then add on something, take it in slow steps. And one of the most important things, and one of the most important things, which I think I didn't talk about, but I should have a lot, is be very aware of your stress, right? Because stress really impairs your ability to detoxify. So, anytime you notice that you're getting into a stressful situation, just take a moment to become aware of your thoughts. And, just do deep breathing. And just by changing your breathing, you're able to relax. I know that Clara will have so many more tips on stress management, because she has helped me with that. But yes, it's very, very important to, keep your mind and body as stress-free as possible. So anytime you get into a negative pattern, call up a friend, go for a walk in fresh air. Or just close your eyes and just breathe, just distract yourself from the thought for that moment until you have time to process it and, release it in a calmer way, in a way that doesn't affect your breathing.
Yeah, and look for the thought that is creating this stress, no? Observe what's happening inside the body, locate the feeling in the body, place the hand wherever you feel that stress in that moment, and try to bring awareness. Only by acknowledging it, the stress is reduced, because we are seeing it and we are not declining it or making like, oh, I'm not seeing you. No, we are acknowledging it. Just by observing, sometimes the mind is so easy. It just needs attention. We just need acknowledgement. We need some recognition. We need some sweet talk. We need some water flowering. So it's just that we are a bit demanding and harsh on ourselves, and we forget to nurture ourselves with beautiful feedback and reminding how wonderful we are, how wonderful is our body that works perfectly all the time. We just have to feed the right foods, the right ingredients, to be aware that we are surrounded with so many pollution and environmental and chemicals that we have to clean a lot our fruits and vegetables and be mindful of what we consume, what we wear, how we clean our fruits, what we eat exactly. So today we've learned a lot. There is a lot of knowledge in this video that we are going to post right now. You better get a notebook again and watch it again from the beginning. And we are very grateful for today your time, Ruki. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Clara.
We are going to put your email under in case anyone wants an assessment on diets. She's a health coach and a raw food chef, and she even has some videos on www.urbanyogi.org, Uganda.
Yeah.
And she gives so many tips. You can go to the platform and enroll for her online or in-person programs if you are in Kampala. And yes, thank you so much. We are going to be back next week with some more well-being strategy to learn more, to have more fun, to get in touch more with our body, with our inner self, not only the mind and the emotions, but also our organs, and to learn how to listen to our inner self more deeply and completely. Thank you, Ruki. Have a good night.
Thank you once again, Clara. And I just want to appreciate you.
We had someone that is also a vegan expert in this chat. Hello.
Yeah. But thank you, Clara, also for doing these. I'm sure that, a lot of people are getting value through it. I enjoy, your videos a lot as well. So thank you for, doing this amazing work.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you to you and to all the people that are participating, because it's happening thanks to you. Actually, you bring the knowledge in. I just hold the space. Thank you so much from Kenya, from Barcelona, from Uganda, from France. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. We send you a big kiss from Uganda, Ruki and me, and we wish you a good night. Thank you, amazing tips. Yes, thank you, Ruki. And thank you everyone that